everyone. How are you all doing?
Good.
Great. Thank you so much for having me here at Boosther. I really appreciate it. I am so passionate about talking to students. I absolutely love it. For the last 12 years, I've actually been a professor as well, in addition to running my own business. I teach at George Brown and Centennial Colleges. And so I'm going to do a very brief talk about my business, but more so I want to talk directly about practical tips that I want to share with students to help boost you. So not just boost her. So about my business, my mom actually started this 35 years ago. She started her first business actually 45 years ago. So I've kind of been in business my whole life. She started it by going to flea markets, looking at exactly what Ashley said, finding a niche, realizing that there's a need for something in the market, and we specialize in colored gemstones. So we're Canada's largest gemstone supplier, and we sell to companies like Walmart, like pretty much every mom and pop shop that you go to in Canada, they probably have something of ours. And we used to sell to like all the employee rewards programs, like for RBC Bank and Visa and so on and so forth. I also design custom pieces as well. And over the last 3 years, I've won 6 international design awards. And I'll share my pieces if you want to see them. All right, so that's enough about my business. Let's talk more about some tips that I want to share with you. I love that you have this event here tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. These events are absolutely critical to your future success. You might be like, oh my God, I promised these girls that I'd go to their event, but like, I really don't want to go, and last minute I want to ditch it. Don't do that. And I'm going to tell you why. What you're gaining from going to these events is a lot of self-confidence, a lot of ability to organize events, and very quick thinking. Okay, you're also learning a sense of community, and the best part of being a woman is that we actually do business very differently. We do business collaboratively, we do business by sharing, we're not as competitive. Contrary to popular belief that women tear each other down, I have never experienced that in my life. I really believe that every single woman I've met has always offered me help, or helped my career, or helped my business in some way. And that's why these events are critically important. So go to as many of these as you can. And if you're just participating here tonight, I encourage you to actually join leadership committees, okay? Joining these committees is crucial to your future success. All right, so thing about that I wanna say is that like, along with like going to these committees, volunteering is critical. Okay, every single time I've volunteered for something, I promise you I've had a job offer. I remember when I was 19 years old, and this was in the 1900s. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so it was a long time back. I used to volunteer at the Canadian Diabetes Association, and back then they had discovered this little thing called the internet, okay? And because I happened to be 19 and I was volunteering here, they're like, Anita, would you like to make a website for us? And I just want you to know, I was a human biology student. I had no idea what anybody was talking about. So that was never gonna happen. So I'm like, well, I'm actually in school right now. I'm in like third year university. I'm not gonna quit my job to like make you a website. But this is the thing, anytime I volunteered anywhere, I've gotten some kind of opportunity out of it. And don't just volunteer at places where, like, there's nothing wrong with these things, like where you're working at an animal shelter, right? You're taking care of dogs. Or you're just, you know, packing food or whatever. Don't be very strategic about what you do when you volunteer. When I was in graduate school, I actually chose to volunteer at the Status of Women Canada. And that was just a mind-blowing experience for me. And consequently, like I've worked with so many not-for-profits for women's associations too. And I was able to get a job out of that as well. So be strategic with where you volunteer. The other thing I want to say is you'd be surprised. Like, so I mentioned that you're building community here by being in these associations, but you would be surprised the community that you build right now, how that's going to impact you later. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. So back in 2000, I actually did end up taking an e-commerce program and learning how to build a website, okay? And so when I did that program, I actually ended up doing a small organization, making a website for them called the Organization of Women in International Trade. And the woman that I was helping, like I was the project lead for that website, and that was while I was studying, okay? And it was part of a capstone project. So if you have capstone projects, if you have co-op projects, always take them while you're in school, okay? Lo and behold, this woman was really enamored with me, and she's like, hey, Anita, you know what, do you want to work for me as a journalist? I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how to write anything. What are you talking about? And so I was like, no. And then she's like, okay, well, do you want to be a project manager at an IT company? And I was like, absolutely, because I'm doing e-commerce right now. And so lo and behold, at the age of 23, I was a project manager at an IT company. And so I was the youngest person in the office. But this is what I'm trying to tell you is, build that foundation for yourself while you're here in school. Because I swear to you, and I promise you, you will never get this time again. You will be constantly paying bills, you'll be running around, doing all this work, and you're never gonna get that time to build a foundation again. A lot of people are like, oh, 30 is the new 20. No, it's not. Okay, 30 is not the new 20. As much as my aching bones would like to think that I'm still 30, that is not the case, okay? Build that foundation now. And then, anyway, so this organization, I built the first website. Guess what? And randomly, I came across this woman again in 2012, and she's like, Anita, would you like to be the president of the association? And I was like, what? Yeah, of course, okay. So this organization that I helped build in my 20s, I ended up being their president for 4 years in like my 30s. And just 2 days ago, I was actually speaking at an event for this organization. So building that foundation now is really, really important. Another thing that I'm going to say is, how many of you have heard of SMART goals? Wonderful. Can anybody tell me what that stands for? Because I always forget. Like, anybody? Specific, right? Measurable, achievable, yes, realistic, and time-based. Exactly. So SMART goals. How many of you that know what a SMART goal is now? You all know what a SMART goal is. How many of you actually practice SMART goal methods? Don't be shy. Okay, wonderful. I am so proud of you. I'll tell you, I didn't do that in my 20s. I didn't. I regret it. I will tell you now, start setting SMART goals, because I started when I was 30, and I'm not joking. Every single goal I have tried to achieve, I have achieved. There has not been a single thing that I have wanted that I have not achieved by setting SMART goals. And that means that you figure out what it is that you want. I'm gonna give you 2 examples, okay? So back when I was 30, my parents got divorced, and my parents were both working in our business. And it was, trust me, it was the best thing to happen. So, like, it was like a good thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Sometimes divorce is a great thing. Anyways, so then my mom's like, would you like to come work for me? And I'm like, not really, but I wasn't doing anything else with my life. So I was like, okay, I'll come work for you. And so I went and worked for my mom. And here I am at 30, and I'm like, my parents' business has been active for 20 years. And there is not a single article written about them. And they do a very niche, specific thing. And for 20 years, like, it was like a best kept secret in Toronto, like nobody knew about us. Lovely. That's not gonna help you get sales. So what I decided to do was I set SMART goals. I said, okay, you know what? By the end of like 2 years, I wanna have 5 articles written about us. And does anybody wanna guess how many articles I had written about our company in 2 years? 50. Okay, and that's because you're setting a SMART goal. And I'll tell you what happens. When you set a goal for yourself, everything you think of, it doesn't matter how minor it is, you start thinking about that goal, because you're constantly thinking about, how can I achieve this goal? And so what I started to do, and I really liked what you said, Ashley, I'm gonna add on to that as well about press. Okay, so TMU has a really good journalism department, but guess what? Are there jobs in journalism? Now that there's AI, now that regular media companies are gone, do you think there's jobs for journalists? Let's be honest, not that many. It's reducing, right? Is there funding for journalists? Not as much. You've got to be at the top of your game. This is the thing. You are your own publicist. So what I decided to do was any little thing that I did in the office, I wrote about. And recognizing that there's a dearth in journalism, which you can fill, I started sending out press releases. And I started tweeting at people. And guess what? Slowly, I ended up becoming this person that everybody reached out to in the industry to ask questions about. Consequently, I've been on BNN, I've been on CBC National, I've been on CTV, City TV, BBC, I don't know. I've lost count. But this is the thing. You are your own publicist. Think of it this way. If you saw a book jacket, and it was like Michelle Obama's new book, and on the top of it, it said something like, Kim Kardashian says this is the greatest book she's ever read. Is it necessary that Kim Kardashian actually read that book? It's not necessary. So how did that quotation get on there? The publicist, right? She was paid to say this quote, and a publicist put it on there. Guess who your publicist is? You. You're your own publicist. So you've got to do that own writing. You've got to generate your own press, okay? So setting SMART goals, and I'm going to tell you another SMART goal. I recently said to myself that, okay, it's been 35 years that we've been in business. I'd like to win a design award, okay? So I was like, my goal is to win 10 awards in 5 years. Guess how many years I won my 10 awards in? 3. That was it. And like I said, that's because at the back of your mind, everything you're doing with a goal in mind. And this is what I'm saying, start thinking that way. And I don't believe in, I mean, some of you don't mind me here, I'm an atheist, and I'm not trying to project on you, but what I'm trying to say here is, like, I don't believe in manifestation. I really believe in being tangible and concrete with the actions that you want. Because I'm going to tell you now, as young women, if you do not have a plan for your life, Tim Hortons has a plan for you. Okay? I'm like, I don't mean to be rude, and if that's your plan, that's okay. There's no shame in working at Tim Hortons. It's great. But I assume that if you're paying this kind of tuition, you might not want to. So have a plan for yourself. Join organizations just like this. Okay, how many of you have always wanted to talk to like somebody really important that's an industry leader and you're too scared to do that? How many of you wanted to do that ever? All of us, right? Okay, you're so lucky now. You can just do it. What's stopping you? You would be surprised. People like me, okay, people like me who love public speaking, we join the boards of all these associations, okay? Right now, I don't even know how many organizations I'm on. And I'm gonna tell you, we are so lucky to be living in this time where you can literally go to any organization and to be living in the city of Toronto. And I'm telling you why, okay? If you like, let's say you have the most obscure hobby, like maybe you're a stamp collector or a coin collector. I was, there's no shame in this, okay? There's gonna be a club in the city of Toronto for people like that. If you're interested in HR, if you're interested in marketing, if you're a woman engineer, if you're a woman in mining, there are organizations for that. And guess what? All of these organizations they have websites. And guess what's on their website? People who are desperate to hang out with other people. And what I mean by that is their board of directors. And I say this as somebody who's been on the boards of 12 organizations. People who sit on boards are very much like me. They're A-type people who want to be seen and assumed to be experts. And guess what that means for you? That means that you should contact them because they want to be seen and look like an expert. Okay? So if you think that you can't do that, that this person is way too big for you, have I got some news for you? That person's desperate to be your friend. So reach out to them, okay? Seriously, take that leap of faith, contact that person, especially in the age of social media. Like, I remember reading this story about this young woman, and the story's a bit old, like maybe it's 15 years old, and she wanted to get a job at Airbnb, okay, really desperately. And what she did was, she was originally an international student from Dubai, had no luck getting the job at Airbnb, applied through all the regular means. Guess what? You're not gonna get a job through the internet. It's not gonna happen. Hate to break it to you. The stats on that are 3 to 10%. Applying online is a huge waste of time. So she did all the regular channels, got no luck, okay? Decided that she was gonna write a marketing proposal to actually start Airbnb in the UAE, okay? Wrote up a 40-page PowerPoint presentation, wrote all the stats, tweeted it at the CEO and like the vice president of Airbnb. Do you think she got a job? Yeah. Yes, she did. So this is the thing, nothing's stopping you from taking those chances. And the sooner you do that, the better. Like, I think I spent more time outside of my classroom than I actually did in my class. Don't ask me about my grades, please. But it was worth it, okay? Because I'm here speaking at Boosther. So yes, it was worth it, okay? All right, let's see. Do I have any more advice? And you know how a lot of people say to you, they say the following advice? Okay, the two things that annoy me as a professor and also as just a woman are like people saying things like, be yourself, okay? And the other thing that people say a lot of is follow your passions as career advice. And I'm gonna tell you no to both of those, okay? Because like I said, I'm a very concrete, tangible person. What I'm going to tell you is be the best version of yourself. Period. If we were, yeah, thank you, thank you. Because you know what? Trust me, when I wake up in the morning, you don't want me to be myself. I'm groggy, I am angry, I'm bitchy. Like nobody wants to see me, okay? So when I come here, I dress up, I try to impress you, and I try to look good. So be the best version of yourself. Don't just show up, okay? And do that all the time. And then in terms of following your passions, guess what? What's your passion?
Just marketing.
Marketing? No, give me another answer. What's your passion? Be real, what's your passion?
I just want to like work in like community work, like advocacy.
Okay, advocacy, how about you?
Probably like designing.
Designing, thank you. Anybody into cooking? Anybody into arts? Okay, beautiful, me too. I love all those things. Guess what the percentage of jobs are in the arts and cooking and media and entertainment? Yes. 2%. Okay, we're all good. If we all followed our passions, right? If we all followed our passions, I swear I wanted to be like the next Frida Kahlo. It's not happening. Okay, I tried. It's not happening. So yeah, don't follow your passion. Follow what you're good at. And I'm serious when I say this. Follow what you're good at. Okay. You know how when you're doing an assignment, there's this moment in your assignment, the learning that you're doing, that you get carried away and you're in this state of flow and you're like, oh my God, everything is so awesome. I could do this for the next 4 hours and that wouldn't be a problem. Yeah. That's what you're good at. That's what you really like. And that's part of, because honestly, we don't love all the courses that we take in our colleges and universities, but that one thing that gets you carried away, pay attention to that because that's what you like, okay? So I think that's it for me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, I'm really impressed. You're doing all the right things by being here tonight. And yeah, networking and connecting with people. Thank you so much.